You reach into your pocket, dump out a handful of pennies, and without even noticing it, you could be throwing away a silent fortune worth more than a luxury house. Stop. These coins could be hidden treasure. Do not spend them. Check your pocket now, because collectors are fighting over rare wheat pennies that look completely ordinary. Nobody talks about these auction shocks until it's too late. And the coin coming up after this one gets even rarer, even scarier, and far more valuable. So stay till the end. First up, the 1953D wheat penny is one of those coins that almost nobody pays attention to at first. It doesn't glow. It doesn't look expensive. In fact, most people see this coin covered in darkness, old dirt, or faded copper color and immediately toss it into change jars, gas station counters, or vending machines. That's exactly why this coin has become such a dangerous hidden treasure. Right now, somewhere in America, somebody is accidentally spending a coin worth over $130,000 without even realizing it. This is not fiction. And once you understand why collectors are obsessed with this specific wheat penny, you will never look at pocket change the same way again. What makes this coin terrifying to ignore is the timing behind it. America, in 1953, was under massive pressure and transition. The Korean War had just ended. Industries were shifting, and the United States Mint was producing huge numbers of coins to keep up with a booming post-war economy. Denver was working hard to strike millions of cents quickly, and when mints are pushed under pressure, strange things begin to happen. Dies wear out faster. Metal flow becomes inconsistent. Tiny imperfections appear that later become collector obsessions. The public saw these pennies as nothing more than spending money. But decades later, collectors realized certain surviving examples from Denver carried an appearance and preservation level that almost never survived circulation. That's where the silent fortune begins. Now look closely at the front of the coin. The obverse shows Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty stamped to his left and the date 1953 sitting near the bottom beside the tiny but powerful D mint mark. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase, "In God we trust." But on valuable examples, collectors become obsessed with how sharply those letters appear. Strong strikes create crisp lettering that almost jumps out of the coin under light. Weak strikes lose that definition, and value can collapse instantly. Most people completely miss this detail, but serious collectors don't. They study every curve in Lincoln's coat, every contour of his jawline, even the tiny folds near his shoulder. One microscopic difference can change everything. Then comes the reverse side, and this is where the wheat penny earns its legendary reputation. Two wheat stalks curve along both sides of the coin, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Across the top sits E pluribus unum. To ordinary people, it's just old design work. To collectors, it represents one of the most iconic American coin designs ever created. The wheat ears symbolize growth, prosperity, and survival during difficult American decades. That emotional connection is why collectors become deeply attached to these coins. They aren't just buying copper. They're buying a physical piece of American history that survived generations of spending, war, inflation, and human neglect. And here's where things become even more intense. The 1953D wheat penny was made from 95% copper, with the remaining metal primarily zinc. That rich copper composition gives the coin its warm, reddish-brown appearance when preserved correctly. The weight sits around 3.11 grams, with a diameter close to 19 millimeters. Its thickness measures roughly 1.5 millimeters, giving it a compact but solid feel in the hand. Collectors often describe original wheat pennies as having a distinct girth and edge feel compared to modern cents. Older copper coins carry a density and texture modern pocket change simply doesn't have anymore. When experienced collectors hold one, they instantly know they're touching a different era of American minting. But survival is the real story. Think about how pennies are treated. People drop them in parking lots, leave them in drawers, scratch them across counters, toss them into jars for decades, or let moisture eat away at the surface. That means finding a 1953D wheat penny in true fine condition with original surfaces intact is becoming incredibly difficult. Most surviving examples are damaged, cleaned, corroded, or worn nearly flat. That's why untouched coins create bidding wars. The moment collectors see original texture and honest aging, emotions take over. Quiet auction rooms suddenly turn aggressive. People stop blinking. Bids start climbing rapidly because they know another opportunity may not appear for years. And this next detail changes everything. Never clean this coin. Not with water, not with baking soda, not with cloth, not with chemicals. The second a collector spots cleaning marks, hairline scratches, or unnatural shine, value can collapse instantly. So many people destroy hidden wealth because they think making a coin look brighter increases value. It does the opposite. Original toning matters more than shine. Dark chocolate surfaces, antique copper colors, even uneven aging patterns can actually increase collector interest because they prove the coin remained untouched for decades. That natural surface tells a story. Once it's cleaned away, that story disappears forever. Professional grading is also critical. A raw coin might look ordinary to an untrained eye, but once certified by a respected grading company, the market can completely transform. Graders examine strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster, rim quality, and even microscopic imperfections invisible to most people. One grade difference can mean thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. This is why patient collectors never rush. They inspect carefully under magnification, compare lettering details, and protect coins from fingerprints or environmental damage. Most people miss this because they focus only on the date. Serious collectors study the entire personality of the coin. Now imagine the emotional pressure in modern auctions. A truly beautiful 1953D wheat penny, in fine preserved condition, enters the room quietly. No flashy headlines, no giant publicity, yet experienced collectors instantly recognize what's happening. They know supply keeps shrinking every single year because damaged coins can never be restored to originality. Meanwhile, demand continues rising as more people enter the rare coin market, searching for tangible, hidden wealth. That imbalance creates explosive prices. Some collectors don't even sell these coins anymore. They lock them away like family treasure because they believe future values could climb even higher. That's how silent fortunes are created, through patience, rarity, and survival. What makes this even crazier is how easy it is to overlook. This coin blends perfectly into everyday change. It doesn't scream value. It hides. That's the dangerous part. A cashier could hand one back to you today. A grandparent's jar could already contain one. Old dresser drawers, estate boxes, forgotten piggy banks, flea market bags. This is exactly where life-changing coins are discovered. And every year, thousands of rare wheat pennies vanish forever because people spend them without checking the mint mark or condition first. Do not spend this coin if you find one. Slow down. Inspect it carefully. That one tiny D beneath the date could represent serious money hiding in plain sight. Collectors also obsess over subtle strike characteristics unique to Denver Mint production. Certain examples show stronger wheat lines, cleaner rims, and sharper facial definition on Lincoln. Others reveal softer details caused by worn dies under heavy minting pressure. These tiny differences create entire debates inside collector communities. People study photographs for hours comparing texture and color. Some even chase original red-brown surfaces that survived untouched for over 70 years. That obsession drives prices upward because emotional demand becomes stronger than simple logic. The coin transforms from metal into a trophy. And the market value? This is where ordinary people freeze in disbelief. High-quality 1953D wheat pennies with exceptional preservation have reached auction prices around $130,000. Think about that for a second. A single 1-cent coin becoming worth more than many homes, salaries, or retirement accounts. Hidden wealth, silent fortune, life-changing opportunity, all hiding inside something most people ignore every single day. This is why experienced collectors search endlessly through rolls of pennies, hoping lightning strikes again. They know one discovery can change everything. If you ever find one, the first thing to check is the date and mint mark. Then study the surface carefully under soft light. Never wipe it. Never polish it. Store it safely and seek professional grading immediately if the condition looks promising. Patience creates wealth in this world. The people who rush usually lose. The people who preserve history quietly build fortunes over time. But don't relax yet, because the next wheat penny is even more shocking than this one. The next coin has collectors practically hunting in panic, and what makes it valuable is something so small most people will miss it completely. One tiny detail, and the value explodes into a level almost nobody believes is real. Most people would never stop for a dirty 1956D wheat penny. They'd toss it onto a counter, feed it into a vending machine, or leave it forgotten in a cup holder without a second thought. That's the frightening part. Some of the biggest hidden treasures in America don't look rare at all. They hide quietly among ordinary coins, while collectors desperately search for them behind the scenes. And the 1956D wheat penny has become one of those silent fortunes people are accidentally losing every single day. If you have old pennies sitting anywhere in your house right now, this is the moment to start checking, because what looks worn and ordinary could secretly be the coin collectors refuse to stop chasing. The story behind this coin begins during a strange period in American history. By 1956, the United States was deep inside the booming post-war economy. Families were buying cars, televisions, appliances, and new homes faster than ever before. Money was moving constantly across the country, and the U.S. Mint faced enormous pressure to produce enough coins to support the exploding economy. Denver worked around the clock, striking pennies in massive quantities, but heavy production creates stress inside mint facilities. Dies wear down. Machines overheat. Tiny striking inconsistencies appear. What nobody realized at the time was that a small number of surviving 1956D wheat pennies would eventually become collector obsessions decades later because of their preservation, strike quality, and historical survival. Now here's where the emotional connection begins. The wheat penny itself already holds legendary status among American coin collectors. For many people, it represents childhood memories, grandparents' coin jars, old candy store change, and lost pieces of American history. The front of the 1956D wheat penny carries Abraham Lincoln's portrait facing right, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head are the famous words, "In God we trust." On the left side appears Liberty, while the date 1956 sites near the lower edge beside the tiny but incredibly important D mint mark. That single letter changes everything. Collectors stare at that mark under magnification because Denver Mint examples developed a personality all their own. Flip the coin over, and the reverse design immediately reveals why people call these wheat pennies. Two wheat stalks curve upward along both edges, surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. Across the top is E pluribus unum. It sounds simple, but serious collectors become emotionally attached to this design because it captures a completely different era of American coinage. Modern pennies feel disposable. Wheat pennies feel alive. The texture, the color, the design balance, everything about them carries history. And when collectors find a 1956D example with strong wheat lines and original surfaces, the reaction becomes almost obsessive. This is not fiction. People compete aggressively for these coins. The composition of the 1956D wheat penny is another reason collectors love it so much. Unlike modern zinc-heavy cents, these older pennies were struck using 95% copper with a small amount of tin and zinc mixed in. The result is a heavier, richer coin with a warm, metallic tone modern cents simply cannot replicate. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures around 19 millimeters in diameter. Its thickness is close to 1.5 millimeters, giving it a compact but solid feel in the hand. Even the edge girth matters to experienced collectors because older copper coins carry a density modern pocket change lacks completely. When you hold one, it feels like real money from another world. But this is where things become dangerous for ordinary people. Most surviving 1956D wheat pennies are heavily damaged today. Think about everything these coins survived. They passed through thousands of hands during the 1950s and 1960s. They sat inside greasy cash registers, rattled around inside pockets with keys, scraped across counters, and suffered decades of abuse before collectors realized their long-term importance. That means finding one today in genuine fine condition, with strong detail and original surfaces, is becoming increasingly difficult. Every year, more are cleaned, corroded, scratched, or lost forever. Supply keeps shrinking while demand quietly rises behind the scenes. And collectors are unbelievably picky about this coin. They inspect Lincoln's cheekbones, jawline, coat edges, and hair details with microscopic precision. On the reverse, they focus intensely on the sharpness of the wheat stalks and lettering. A coin with strong strike quality instantly attracts more attention because it suggests better preservation and minting quality. Weakly struck, examples lose emotional impact. But when a sharply detailed 1956D wheat penny appears with untouched surfaces, auction rooms suddenly change atmosphere. Quiet conversations stop. Phones come out. Bidders lean forward because they know opportunities like this are becoming rare. This next part is critical, and most people completely ruin their coins right here. Never clean a 1956D wheat penny. Never polish it. Never dip it in chemicals. Never scrub away the darkness. That old toning collectors see on original coins is not dirt to them, it's history. Deep brown surfaces, reddish copper highlights, even uneven antique toning can dramatically increase collector appeal because they prove the coin survived naturally over decades. Once somebody cleans the coin, microscopic scratches destroy that originality forever. And the market notices immediately. People unknowingly erase hidden wealth because they think shiny means valuable. In rare coin collecting, originality beats brightness almost every time. One reason this specific penny creates such emotional reactions is because collectors know many owners accidentally spend them. Think about that. Right now, somebody somewhere is probably using one to buy a soda or drop into a tip jar. They see 1 cent. Collectors see a disappearing piece of American history. That disconnect creates opportunity for patient people who pay attention. Most people miss this because they rush through life without checking dates or mint marks. But serious collectors slow down. They inspect every wheat penny carefully because one overlooked coin can change everything. The auction behavior surrounding high-end 1956D wheat pennies has become almost surreal. When premium examples appear, bidding often starts quietly. Then suddenly 2 or 3 determined collectors lock onto the same coin and refuse to back down. Prices climb rapidly because these buyers understand something ordinary people don't. Once a truly beautiful coin enters a permanent collection, it may disappear from the market for decades. Many collectors hold these coins tightly instead of selling them because they believe the future market will become even more competitive as surviving original examples continue shrinking. Professional grading is another massive factor driving demand. A raw coin found inside an old jar might look ordinary until a grading company authenticates its condition and originality. Experts study luster, strike quality, surface preservation, rim integrity, color, and wear patterns under magnification. One tiny grade difference can change a coin from interesting to extraordinary. This is why experienced collectors wear gloves, avoid fingerprints, and store coins carefully away from humidity and environmental damage. Patience creates wealth in this hobby. Carelessness destroys it. And there's something psychologically powerful about the 1956D wheat penny specifically. It comes from the final years of the wheat penny era before the Lincoln Memorial design replaced it in 1959. Collectors know these late-date wheat pennies represent the end of an iconic chapter in American coin history. That emotional last-generation feeling makes people hold on to them harder. The closer collectors get to the end of a legendary coin design, the stronger the nostalgia becomes. That emotional demand keeps pushing competition higher. Now let's talk about market value, because this is where people stop breathing for a second. Fine condition 1956D wheat pennies with exceptional preservation and original surfaces have reached auction values around $120,000. A single penny, 1 cent, becoming serious money capable of changing somebody's future overnight. Hidden wealth sitting inside old coin jars and forgotten collections, while most people never even look twice. This is why collectors spend years searching through rolls of pennies under bright lights, hoping to uncover one more untouched survivor. If you ever find a 1956D wheat penny, the first thing to check is the condition of Lincoln's portrait and the clarity of the wheat lines on the reverse. Look closely at the mint mark placement and surface texture. Originality matters more than perfection. Never clean it. Never scrape away toning. Store it carefully and seek professional grading if the coin shows strong detail and natural surfaces. The biggest mistake people make is rushing. Smart collectors understand patience is what transforms ordinary discoveries into silent fortunes. And don't leave yet, because the next wheat penny is even more unbelievable than this one. The next coin carries a detail so tiny, so easy to miss, that thousands of people have already spent it without realizing they were holding one of the most dangerous hidden treasures in circulation. What comes next is bigger, rarer, and far more shocking. A lot of people think the most dangerous coins are the flashy ones, the shiny silver pieces locked inside museum cases or hidden behind glass at auctions. But the truth is far scarier than that. Some of the rarest hidden treasures in America look completely harmless. They sit in dusty jars, old kitchen drawers, and forgotten penny rolls, while families unknowingly spend them every single day. And the 1944 wheat penny, without a mint mark, is one of the biggest silent fortunes hiding in plain sight. Most people see an old copper penny. Collectors see a disappearing survivor from one of the most intense periods in American history. If you have old coins anywhere in your house, this is the moment to pay attention, because what you're about to hear changes everything. The year 1944 carried enormous pressure across the United States. World War II was still raging. Factories were operating non-stop. Soldiers were overseas, and the entire American economy was focused on survival and production. During this time, the U.S. Mint faced extraordinary challenges producing coinage while important metals were desperately needed for the war effort. Just 1 year earlier, in 1,943 pennies had been struck using zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for military supplies. But in 1944, the mint returned to copper-based cents using recycled wartime shell casings and recovered copper materials. That alone gives the 1,944 wheat penny an emotional weight collectors cannot ignore. This coin literally carries the atmosphere of wartime America inside its metal. Now here's where things become even more fascinating. The 1,944 wheat penny without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, meaning no letter appears beneath the date. To ordinary people, that missing mint mark seems meaningless. But to collectors, no mint mark tells a story. Philadelphia produced massive numbers of coins during wartime demand, and surviving examples with strong detail and original surfaces became increasingly difficult to find over the decades. Why? Because these coins circulated heavily during one of the busiest economic periods America had ever seen. They weren't protected. They were used hard, spent, constantly, and treated like ordinary pocket change. That's why finding one today in fine condition feels like discovering buried treasure. Take a close look at the front of the coin, and you'll understand why collectors become emotionally attached to wheat pennies. Abraham Lincoln's portrait faces right with remarkable simplicity and strength. Above him appears, "In God We Trust," while liberty sits along the left side. Near the bottom rests the date 1944 with absolutely no mint mark underneath it. That empty space is critical. Experienced collectors immediately recognize Philadelphia issues because of that missing letter. And the sharper the details around Lincoln's hair, jawline, and coat, the more attention the coin receives. Serious collectors examine every tiny line under magnification because small differences in strike quality can separate an ordinary coin from a life-changing opportunity. Flip the coin over, and the reverse design creates instant nostalgia. 2 wheat stalks frame the words "1 cent" and "United States of America," while "E pluribus unum" stretches proudly across the top. This design became one of the most beloved coin reverses in American history because it represents a completely different era of the country. Wheat pennies remind people of wartime sacrifice, family struggles, old cash registers, and the America their grandparents knew. Collectors don't just buy these coins for metal or rarity. They buy emotion. They buy memory. They buy a physical object that survived one of the most dramatic decades in world history. The composition of the 1944 wheat penny adds another layer to its legendary reputation. Unlike modern pennies that feel lightweight and disposable, this coin was struck primarily from 95% copper with small amounts of zinc and tin. Because recycled wartime shell casings helped supply material for these coins, many collectors feel a deep connection to their historical significance. Holding one almost feels like holding a relic from the war itself. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures about 19 millimeters in diameter, and carries a thickness around 1.5 millimeters. Even the edge girth and density feel different compared to modern cents. Older copper coins possess a richness and warmth collectors instantly recognize the moment they touch them. But survival is what truly transformed this penny into hidden wealth. Think about how many 1,944 pennies were abused over the decades. Children carried them. Stores handed them out endlessly. Millions vanished into circulation damage, moisture exposure, corrosion, scratches, and cleaning attempts. Very few survived with natural surfaces intact. And that's exactly why collectors become obsessed when they find original examples showing strong detail and untouched toning. The darker, antique copper colors that ordinary people ignore can actually increase collector interest because they reveal authenticity and age. Most people miss this completely. And this next detail is absolutely critical. Never clean a 1,944 wheat penny. Never polish it. Never scrub away its surface because you think brighter means better. Cleaning destroys value forever. The moment microscopic scratches appear under light, experienced collectors notice immediately. Original toning matters enormously in the coin world. Deep brown surfaces, reddish highlights, even uneven aging patterns can make a coin feel more alive and historically important. Once cleaned, that original character disappears permanently. This is where countless people accidentally destroy silent fortunes sitting right in their own homes. The collector demand surrounding the 1,944 no-mint mark wheat penny has become incredibly intense over the years because supply keeps shrinking while emotional interest keeps growing. Some collectors focus specifically on wartime coinage because those coins represent survival and resilience during one of America's darkest periods. Others chase Philadelphia issues because the no-mint mark examples carry unique strike characteristics and historical identity. Auction houses understand this emotional pull very well. When premium quality examples appear, bidding behavior becomes aggressive fast. Quiet collectors suddenly compete with shocking determination because they know opportunities like this don't appear often anymore. One reason this coin feels so dangerous to ignore is because it still hides so easily in plain sight. Most people never check for mint marks. Most people never study dates carefully. They assume old pennies are worthless. That mistake is costing people hidden wealth every single year. Somewhere right now, a 1,944 wheat penny without a mint mark is probably sitting inside a forgotten jar, mixed with ordinary change. While its owner has no idea, collectors are desperately hunting for it. This is not fiction. Stories like this happen constantly in the rare coin world, and every time somebody accidentally spends one, surviving supply becomes even smaller. Professional grading has also become a major factor behind rising demand. A properly authenticated 1,944 wheat penny with original surfaces and strong detail can command enormous attention in the market. Grading companies inspect strike sharpness, wear patterns, rim condition, luster traces, and surface preservation under magnification. Tiny differences matter. One grade point can dramatically shift collector demand and auction behavior. That's why experienced collectors handle these coins carefully, avoid fingerprints, and protect them from humidity or environmental contamination. Patience creates wealth here. Carelessness destroys it. And collectors become incredibly emotional about the details. Some search for stronger wheat lines on the reverse. Others want sharper lettering in Liberty or cleaner facial details on Lincoln. Even subtle variations in copper tone can trigger fierce bidding because originality is everything. Collectors are not just buying coins anymore, they're competing for survivors. Every untouched 1,944 wheat penny represents a tiny piece of history that escaped destruction for more than 80 years. That emotional pressure is exactly why demand continues climbing. Now let's talk about the market, because this is where people realize how serious this really is. Fine condition 1,944 wheat pennies without a mint mark have reached astonishing auction values around $150,000. 1 penny, one tiny copper coin capable of becoming life-changing money. Hidden treasure hiding in plain sight, while millions of people continue overlooking them every single day. Serious money, silent fortune. The kind of discovery people dream about making in old family collections or forgotten coin rolls. If you ever find one, the first thing to do is slow down. Check the date carefully. Confirm there is no mint mark beneath the year. Then inspect the surfaces under soft lighting. Never wipe it. Never clean it. Preserve the original toning and store it safely until professional grading can determine its true condition and authenticity. Most people ruin value by rushing or trying to improve the coin. Smart collectors understand patience is what protects hidden wealth. And here's the craziest part of all. There are still people spending these coins today without realizing what they're holding. Every year, valuable wheat pennies disappear back into circulation because someone failed to notice the details. That's why collectors constantly search old jars, estate sales, garage sales, and bankrolls, hoping lightning strikes again. One overlooked penny can completely change somebody's future. Before you leave, go check your pockets, your drawers, your old piggy banks, and every container filled with loose change. Because the next hidden treasure could already be sitting inside your home right now. And if this video opened your eyes to what ordinary pennies can secretly become, wait until you see the next group of coins collectors are fighting over behind closed auction doors. Those discoveries are even rarer and far more unbelievable.